Hey guys. So, we said that the Alt-Shift-X Westworld timeline video would be out today. And that was a mistake because the sore throat situation uh, got worse, not better. And now we've got this full blown sort of like Tom Waits grave mind thing going on, which I don't want to put on a Alt-Shift-X video. So we'll put out the proper timeline video and then the detailed finale analysis video as soon as this voice gets better. But for now, we will do a one-off Alt Shift X throat infection special where I'll just run through the timeline video without the usual animations and things. But basically, the content's there. So I hope this will help clarify Westworld until we get into the full analysis soon. So, here goes. Westworld is so full of flashbacks, flash forwards, and twists that it's really hard to know what happened. Let's work out the timeline from the beginning. About 35 years ago, Ford and Arnold created Westworld and the hosts. They got investment from Logan, the son of James Delos. After Arnold's son Charlie died, Arnold worked with the host Dolores to bring her to consciousness, represented by the symbol of the maze. But Arnold realized that conscious hosts would suffer in the Westworld park, so he tried to stop the park opening by making Dolores kill the hosts and himself. The host Akecheta found Arnold's maze in the aftermath, which started his own path to consciousness. Despite Arnold's death, Ford opened the park anyway, and he created Bernard, a host based on Dolores's memories of Arnold. So that is the early history of Westworld. A few years later, Logan brings William... Oh, we're a bit lost. We're doing this live. Hang on. Logan brings William to the park. William falls in love with Dolores, but then turns to violence and darkness, becoming the Man in Black. William leaves Logan in the desert, and he and James invest more in Westworld. William builds the Forge to record Westworld guest data, so they can decode the human mind and make immortal copies of people. William marries James's daughter Juliet and takes over the Delos Company. Logan falls out with his father James and later dies of an overdose. When James dies, they make an immortal copy of him, though in a physical body he keeps breaking down. So this stuff is all the past timeline of Season 1. 30 years later, the rest of Season 1 happens. After Juliet commits suicide, William kills Maeve and becomes obsessed with the maze, which he follows through Season 1. But the maze is really about host consciousness, so Dolores awakes by remembering her past with William. Maeve awakes and decides to find her host daughter. There's a power struggle between Ford and Westworld executives Teresa and Charlotte. Charlotte puts a key in Abernathy to encrypt the data in the Forge, and in the Season 1 finale, Dolores starts a robot uprising. She kills Ford, but Ford knew this would happen and had Bernard make a digital backup of Ford. That's Season 1. In Season 2, Dolores fights humans and hosts. William flirts with redemption, but ends up killing his daughter, Emily. Akecheta leads hosts to the door to the Sublime, a digital paradise for hosts. Maeve goes to Shogun World and gets mind control powers, and gets her daughter safe in the Sublime before Maeve and others are killed by Charlotte. Charlotte looks for Abernathy, but Dolores gets the key and uses Forge data to learn about the human mind. Dolores starts a flood and tries to destroy the Forge and the Sublime, so Bernard kills Dolores. But then Bernard puts Dolores' mind inside a copied body of Charlotte. Then Bernard scrambles his own memories to hide the truth, lies on the beach, and wakes up in the future timeline of Season 2. That's when Strand arrives and finds the flood and looks for Abernathy with Charlotte, who by then is actually Dolores. So the stuff with Charlotte finding out that Bernard is a host and torturing him, that Charlotte is actually Dolores. Call her Charloris. They return to the Forge, where Charloris kills Strand. She decides to help the hosts in the Sublime by satellite transferring them to somewhere safe. Then Dolores kills Bernard and takes his brain and others out of Westworld. She recreates her own body and Bernard's and plans to take over the real world. Back in the park, Maeve and friends are dead, but Felix and Sylvester might res her. Charlotte and Strand are dead, and William is alive. But after the credits, we see a copy of William in the far future. He enters the old ruined forge and meets a host version of his daughter Emily. William is now trapped in some loop, a prison of his own sins. So that's what happens in Westworld. But what does it mean? We'll work that out in another new video coming soon. So that's the Westworld timeline video so far. I hope that helps figure out the overall shape of the story. So as soon as his voice is better, we'll release like a proper polished version of that, and then we'll follow it up with a more detailed analysis of the finale, which is also already in the works. So thank you for listening, thank you for watching, thank you for your patience with these videos. Looking forward to getting them out as soon as I stop sounding like Gravemind or Tom Waits or whatever your reference is. Thank you and cheers.